it is so difficult for the liberal to make what is not an intellectual or moral come to an intellectual moral realization as it is to change psychologically. There is a fixed belief in the vast majority of liberals that their enemy is conservatism and the Republican Party. They refuse, and that's what it amounts to. They refuse to acknowledge that their enemy is the left. The enemy of liberalism is not conservatism. The enemy of liberalism is leftism. So even when they realize this is an astonishing thing that the universities have either been neutral or have been prodded into some comment about Hamas, and the number of professors and students who are pro-Hamas, so they think, wow, that's really sad. The university has failed morally and intellectually. It's both equally. But they don't put the proverbial 2 and 2 together. So when people have been saying to students now for a number of years that a man can become a woman, and that if you deny that that man is a woman, you are a hater and you are anti-science, that was okay. When they have been teaching to young people that America, the most open society in world history, is actually has actually flirted with fascism under Donald Trump and is a systemically racist society against blacks, and that having voter ID is a form of voter suppression, that was okay. And when the University of Pennsylvania English department took down the Shakespeare mural and did so and announced because he was a dead white European male, in other words, his picture was not up because he's the greatest writer in the English language. No, it was because he was a white European male, so we have to take him down. And so they had a non-white, non-European, female, lesbian poet instead. That was okay to these people. So I don't want to be an ingrate with regard to these people that have finally awakened that today's Nazis, there is no difference between Hamas and Nazism, none whatsoever. They both want to wipe out all Jews, one in Europe and one in Israel. Name me one difference, even internally. The Nazis didn't allow opposition. They tortured their own opponents, German opponents. And Hamas tortures its own Arab opponents. There is no difference. This is in the name of Allah, and that was in the name of der Führer, the leader, Hitler. So they go, wow, gee. Now, again, I feel like I'm doing something I hate, and that is being ungrateful. This is a huge, huge difference. And I am grateful for it. But as I said, all of these years of sick teachings at the university, they have funded these universities all these years with hundreds of millions or billions of dollars, and that was okay. But now that they're pro-Nazi, well, better late than never, but we'll see, first of all, if it lasts. People love their names up at university buildings, love it. And people love to say, oh, I gave $50 million or $20 million or $1 million to Yale. Oh, it feels so good. It would have been better had you burned that money. Much better, much, much better. That's wasted. This is destructive. But, listen, maybe there will be a sea change. Will it change any of their voting? I doubt in 2% of the cases will their voting change. because they're voting for the party that breeds this stuff. So, if you know somebody, and it would be interesting to me, do you know anybody, is there anybody in your extended family, if you're a conservative, is anybody in your extended family who has awakened to the moral damage done to the society by the left with regard to the Middle East? Nazis versus a free country, and they root for the Nazis. That's what it is. They root for the Nazis. Is there any other example of a free country fighting a tyranny and people around the world rooting for the tyranny? I can't think of any. It shows you how effective the demonization of Israel has become. That this is widespread. The media are saturated with this. Do you know that yesterday the Los Angeles Times had an article, I'll quote from it later, in which it described the killing of Palestinians in Gaza as Israel slaughtered. It wasn't in quotes slaughtered. So, but the description of what Hamas did to Jews, they didn't use the word slaughtered. So Israel is slaughtering Palestinians. This is an LA Times, not an opinion piece, news item. Israel is slaughtering Palestinians, but not vice versa. Well, it's hard to imagine that any real change is taking place. I am grateful for what there is. I fully acknowledge that. To see people cheering on Nazis. From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. That means destroy Israel. From the river to the sea, one thing exists: the state of Israel.